Because you know, deep down, you deserve to be punished.
Hey, howdy, hey, wizards, witches, muggles, muggleborns, purebloods, half-bloods, giants, dragons, uh, hippogriffs, owls, rats. I could go on, but I'm not, because we'll be all day. Anyway, welcome to Wolfman 47's channel, and today we're doing another character study. Well, sorry, I'm doing another character study, and this time we're going to talk about a much more, a sort of more well-known character than the one I did last time I did a vlog, and it's Dolores Umbridge. A lot of you who are fans of the Wizarding World, whether you're fans now, fans previously, or whatever, regardless of J.K. Rowling's comments, everybody can agree that Dolores Umbridge, or I just got to call her Umbridge, is one of the most hated, if not the most hated character in the Wizarding World. And there are several reasons why that is. So I won't go into the details of what positions of power she had at the Ministry of Magic or in Hogwarts, or rather I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. But the best way to describe her is that she is that she abuses her power. She loves torturing students and minors, and also muggles and anything that is below her, and she just abuses her power, thinks she can get away with anything, and that the law is above her. And yeah, so a bit of history. She started out at the Ministry of Magic, although in the Harry Potter films and books and video games and so forth, she didn't actually make an appearance in the story until Order of the Phoenix. She was the one responsible for setting those Dementors onto Harry and Dudley, which meant that Harry had to use magic to save a Muggle, which is usually not allowed. It's against the law in the Wizarding World. And of course, he was doing underage magic as well. So it was her attempt to basically get rid of him so that he can't say any more about Voldemort's return, because at the time the Ministry refused to believe that Voldemort had returned. Now, it's interesting to find. It's kind of interesting because of all the hate characters that people hate, Umbridge is more hated than Voldemort. Never mind that Voldemort, killed a lot of people, including Harry's parents and through Wormtail Cedric Diggory. Never mind that he tries to be immortal, uses the unforgivable curses, and is trying to sort of like rise to power and be like the most all-powerful being, trying to rule the Wizarding World and all that stuff. No, a person torturing students, sending people away, and just setting so many bizarre, over-the-top rules and just abusing power. No, that's far worse than what Voldemort does, apparently. Yeah, she is, pardon my French, a bitch. And the things that she's done, she is actually, believe it or not, Imelda Staunton, who plays her character in the film, she actually went on record to say that she absolutely hated playing Dolores Umbridge. Actresses like her, love children in real life. Yeah, they just love children in real life. But and it's one of those roles that she just found incredibly difficult to do. In fact, she found it so difficult that she vomited as she was reading her lines and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, and one of the good things about Umbridge is that she, like other people that have taught Defense Against Dark Arts at Hogwarts, she too had to face the fact that Voldemort set a curse on the Defense Against Dark Arts teachers. So even she was not, I don't know I forget what the word is, but even she wasn't afraid of. Even she had that effect. But there's a bit of a difference with her. So the Defense Against Dark Arts teachers I know of from the Harry Potter books and films. Professor Quirrell, well, he dies after Harry uses the Philosopher's Stone on him because he was effectively a vessel for Voldemort. and Voldemort used him to get all that stuff. Year 2, Gilderoy Lockhart. He's a fraud, and Dumbledore wanted to basically have him be caught out as a fraud. So much so that Harry and Ron managed to somehow let him use Ron's broken wand in the Chamber of Secrets to use the memory wiping spell Obliviate, which he accidentally put on himself, and he had amnesia, and he had to go to St. Mungo's. So that was him. Year 3, Remus Lupin, who's a loyal member to the Order of the Phoenix. Probably one of the best Defense Against Dark Arts teachers that Hogwarts has had, at least during Harry Potter's time, because he was quite practical, wanted people to sort of learn stuff, and he even went out of his way to teach Harry Expecto Patronum, which of course is the Patronus charm to use against Dementors. And yeah, when it was found out that he was a werewolf, he had to leave, because being that is kind of against the rules at Hogwarts, so he resigned. Mad-Eye Moody, well, no one knew the truth until much later on that he was actually Barty Crouch Jr. in disguise, using like an extended amount of Polyjuice Potion to ensure that he can keep being his character and using different mannerisms and all that. But despite that, the real Alistair Moody was actually allowed to attend the end of year feast, despite not being able to teach any of the students. But regardless, he would still be quite a key member in the Order of the Phoenix, eventually becoming its head before he died in the Second Wizarding War that Voldemort enacted. And yeah, he would pass his wisdom and so forth on to Harry and the guy and his group of friends and all that. And then after Umbridge, Professor Snape took over, and everybody knows that even though Professor Snape has always been the potions master, it wasn't until Slughorn was put back in power that Professor Snape was able to become the Defense Against Dark Arts teacher and finally be able to do that one job he's always wanted to do. And yeah, even he had to face the fact they wouldn't be Defense Against Dark Arts teacher for 1 year, because after Voldemort did what he did in Deathly Hallows, he put Snape up as the head teacher, thinking that Snape is loyal to him, when actually it was later on that Snape was actually a double agent, secretly working for the Order of Phoenix, but working undercover as a Death Eater. But enough about them. Going back to Umbridge. Yeah, she just did all sorts of different things, and it probably comes as no surprise that Harry wanted to teach Defense Against the Dark Arts himself by forming the Dumbledore's army during the events of Order of the Phoenix. And even when Umbridge found him out, Hermione was clever, using her clever wits and all that to basically have Umbridge get attacked by Gorp, Hagrid's giant half brother thing, and the Centaurs captured her to do God knows what. I dare not think. And then of course Umbridge was dismissed from Hogwarts, which is kind of cruel irony, because she was trying to do that to Trelawney sort of midway in the story, but Trelawney, who teaches divination, was saved by Dumbledore. Of course, she couldn't be saved by Dumbledore when Dumbledore left, but yeah. And she did return in Deathly Hallows, albeit back as sort of an official member of the Ministry, and she was pretty okay. And despite not being a Death Eater or loyal to Voldemort, she was okay with him taking over things, because it meant she can finally get what she wants to happen. But of course, in the end, after Hermione and after the guy, or I forget his name, that's in Order of Phoenix becomes Minister for Magic, she is effectively sacked and sent to Azkaban for all the crimes that she's committed in her rise to power and abuse. She is a horrible lady, one of the most horrible people that you'll ever come across in the Wizarding world. She might not have committed murders or started wars or any. Well, actually, no. She did kind of start a sort of small war within Hogwarts because of all the students trying to rebel against her with Dumbledore's army and all that. But she would not kind of do what Voldemort did, which was mass murder and try to rise to power. Of course, she would try and rise to power herself, but yeah. I don't know if I would compare her to Grindelwald. If she's comparable to Grindelwald, because even though we only ever got 3 Fantastic Beasts films, although the second and third one were far from fantastic, I just don't know if what he did was anywhere near as bad as what Umbridge did. So yeah, she's a horrible lady. Probably just as well that she got what was coming to her. But I will give credit to Imelda Staunton for doing a fantastic performance as that character. I can't for the life of me think of anybody else that could play that one character. I mean, I know Pam Ferris played Trunchbull in Matilda, who's kind of similar in a way, but she, having already played a character in Prisoner of Azkaban, Aunt Marge, I think Imelda Staunton was a good choice for Umbridge, because she plays the part well, and even that scene when she and McGonagall are having those discussions, they keep going.
What exactly are you insinuating?
I am merely requesting that when it comes to my students, you conform to the prescribed disciplinary practices.
So silly of me, but it sounds as if you're questioning my authority in my own classroom. Minerva.
Not at all, Dolores. Merely your medieval methods.
I am sorry, dear, but to question my practices is to question the ministry, and by extension, the minister himself. I am a tolerant woman, but the one thing I will not stand for is disloyalty.
Disloyalty?
Things at Hogwarts are far worse than I feared. Cornelius will want to take immediate action.
Discussions, they keep going one step up. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I think the Order of the Phoenix film is a lot better than the book. The book's fine and all, but the film actually makes the book as pretty complex and not great as it was a lot better. In fact, there's a lot of things in the films that are a lot better than the books. Like, I know in the Deathly Hallows book, Hedwig died in a cage, whereas in the film she actually did something before she died, and ultimately made a heroic sacrifice to ensure Harry got to the Burrow, which was the other safe house for the Order of the Phoenix. Okay, so I think I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to say about Umbridge. She's a horrible character. I hope she stays in Azkaban forever. If she ever gets out of Azkaban, well, God help us, because she might end up becoming the next Voldemort for all we know. That's a scary thought, isn't it? Oh, dear. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that. And just to say on record, my opinions haven't changed about J.K. Rowling. She may have created the Harry Potter books and the Wizarding World franchise at large, but I still don't agree with her views on transgender people. They're just wrong still. But I still consider myself a fan of the Wizarding World regardless, because it's still a great franchise despite the hardships it's gone through recently as a result of her making those comments on Twitter. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to share what you think about Umbridge, or just say whatever else, leave a comment down below, or whatever it is these days. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more of what I do. I could do with more subscribers, but choice is yours as always. Thank you again for watching. See you in the next one. Peace to you all.
Expecto Patronum!